Chapter 323, Dual Exceptional Gods, Battle 10 kilometers above, TL by Babelson. Just as the Heaven Do army sortied the camp, preparing to fight the Spirit Empire army to the death, Tang San and his comrades finally returned just in time. After defeating Chen Rinshu, he only delayed for a few hours to help his friends complete their spirit ring absorption, and after a short stop on Purple Pearl Island, they immediately set off and hurried back. And because Tang San injured Chen Rinshu, delaying her return and forcing her to rest and recuperate for a night, this made Tang San able to return in time for the battle. Tang San's sea god's power abruptly appearing above the Heaven Do army empire made Chen Rinshu's heart sink, clenching her fists. But the Heaven Do army's side was a different matter altogether. Seeing Tang San and the other 6 devils returning, Shui Bang almost fainted from his horse with joy. He repeatedly prayed for Tang San to return, and when it actually happened, his happiness was indescribable. He even like mad drew his imperial sword and shouted at the sky. The sea god descends. Long live King Lanhao. His shout immediately roused the Heaven Do army that was still somewhat dazed from Tang San's appearance. They might be puzzled by the sea god raiment Tang San wore, but the sea god trident he held couldn't be faked. Seeing Tang San raise the sea god trident, his whole body growing even more dazzling than before, the splendorous sea god raiment releasing an intense presence that immediately made the Heaven Do soldiers' eyes fill with a zealous light. They might not understand why His Majesty called King Lanhao sea god, but they definitely believed that with the guidance of King Lanhao, they would defeat the Spirit Empire. And Shui Bang's shout of long live undoubtedly placed Tang San on the same level as him, and even above him. This might be inappropriate, but Tang San appearing definitely foretold the tides changing. With him, the entire Heaven Do army's million heroes had a backbone. With him, this battle was no longer suicidal, but rather a major opportunity to annihilate the enemy. Tang Hao excitedly raised his fist, looking at his son in the air, his heart filled with pride. A god, yes, his son had finally inherited the sea god, and returned at the critical juncture. Grandmaster was even more excited than Tang Hao. Tang San was the disciple he had raised, whom he had taught all his knowledge. As he now saw Tang San had broken through the rank 100 barrier, appearing in the sky emanating immense divine power, Grandmaster couldn't keep all sorts of feelings from welling up. In his heart he shouted madly, Father, Grandfather, how good it would be if he was still alive. Gang isn't a cripple. I'm not an embarrassment to the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan. Even if my spirit is crippled, I've raised a god. A god. Despite being on the battlefield, Grandmaster's eyes filled with tears. He had always waited for this day to come, and now that it did, and came at such a critical moment, he could no longer hold back his excitement. His whole life was a tragedy, and reaching this day hadn't been easy. Now seeing the god-level Tang San, all of Grandmaster's misery went up in smoke. Raising this disciple was the pride of his life. Long live the sea god. Long live King Lan Hao. The Tang army's strength, speed, defense and medicine hall masters were first to follow Shui Bang's exclamation, immediately followed by the entire Heaven Do army with a cry like a landslide. That incomparably powerful imposing manner made the 6 high priests on the walls of Jelling Pass immediately change expressions. Before the battle had even begun, the imposing manner of both sides was already as different as heaven and earth. Even peak powers like them felt different before such a scene. After all, human power was limited. Even titled Douluo didn't dare say they could battle an army of 1,000,000. At most they could escape unharmed. But in a war like this, Jelling Pass was the critical point of the Spirit Empire, so how could they run? The confidence that had filled them with Chen Rinashu's return had made them certain of victory. But today they saw not only the Heaven Do Empire's 1,000,000 soldiers flourishing with imposing manner, but at the same time also Tang San in the sky, brimming with a presence that made them tremble. After 1 month, Tang San gave Golden Crocodile Douluo an entirely different feeling. When he faced Tang San a month ago he had been astonished, but he still couldn't comprehend how BB Dong could have been defeated by a youth that wasn't even rank 95, especially since Tang San had wasted more than half his strength at that time, giving Golden Crocodile Douluo even less of a sense of danger. However, now that 1 month had gone by and he saw Tang San again, what Golden Crocodile Douluo felt had already turned into shock, because Tang San gave him a completely immeasurable feeling, just like Chen Rinshu next to him. That infinitely powerful presence enveloped in the Heaven Do army was like dotting the eyes on a dragon, and with his appearance the entire Heaven Do army's morale had sublimated to another level. Just this imposing manner pressed down on Jelling Pass until it felt unstable. Miss, Golden Crocodile Douluo asked hesitantly. Chen Rinshu's expression had already recovered its calm. Even though in her heart she had already known she would meet Tang San again on this battlefield, when he really appeared in front of her, she still couldn't calm down. You're not mistaken. Tang San has also completed an inheritance. I was late because I was always pursuing him. Unfortunately, I didn't succeed, and finally let him complete the inheritance. He has inherited the power of the sea god. Second priest, pass on my orders. Withdraw the army into the pass and seal the gates. At the same time, summon all imperial spirit masters to the top of the walls, and guard the pass. We cannot let the Heaven Do Empire take 1 step past us. Before the second priest could speak, the third priest couldn't help commenting. Miss, withdrawing the army now might not be so suitable. Morale is already low, and if we flee before the battle, how can we still fight? Chen Rinshu gave a cold snort, making the third priest feel his heart tighten, as if squeezed by a large hand. He staggered back 2 steps with a muffled grunt, his face changing color. Without withdrawing, what could you still do? When facing 1,000,000 Heaven Do soldiers, don't tell me you high priests are sure you can win when outnumbered 6 to 1. Our only chance is to dig in at Jelling Pass. With Tang San here, you can rely only on your own strength in the battle. The second priest Golden Crocodile Douluo drew a cold breath, setting his mind. Mrs. Right, we can only rely on the solidity of Jelling Pass to block the Heaven Do army assault. Pull back the army before they approach. Raise the drawbridges. Put all efforts on defense. Miss, don't worry and go deal with that Tang San. Leave this place to us. The outcome of the battle depends on you. Chen Rinshu looked face to face with Golden Crocodile Douluo, sighing inwardly. Of course she understood his meaning. This battle was entirely settled by which side had god level power. Even if one god was only injured, it would still instantly reverse the battle. But for her to defeat Tang San was as difficult as climbing to heaven. Dragging him with her into death might be the best possible outcome. Of course, she wouldn't say what she was thinking. The Spirit Empire's already weak morale couldn't stand another blow. Floating up, dazzling golden light exploded from Chen Rinshu's whole body, her divine sense spreading out, covering half the sky in practically an instant. 6 golden wings abruptly unfolding behind her, shouting loudly, Chen, Ren, Shui, is here. The simple words were completely different when shouted by Chen Rinshu, every syllable brimming with her surging angelic power, this alone pushing down the 1,000,000 Heaven Do soldiers' excited shouting. A marvel appeared before Jelling Pass. Half the sky was pure golden, the other half was crystal clear blue, both colors holding one half. The divine presence really was too immense. Covered by Chen Rinshu's angelic power, the flagging defenders inside Jelling Pass were immersed in that warm power, and were immediately aflame with confidence. They had a kind of feeling like the Jelling Pass they defended was forged from metal, an unbreakable super fortress. The warm waves of angelic's power also roused their instinctive fighting spirit, their blood starting to boil. Even their swift retreat back into the past didn't influence their rising imposing manner. On the other side, Tang San released an azure halo, and enveloped in the sea god power, the Heaven Do soldiers felt like they turned into a raging wave. The distant Jelling Pass walls like crumbling fences, fundamentally unable to stand up to the strike of their raging wave. The angelic power forged the presence of the Spirit Empire defenders into the strongest shield. The sea god power forged the presence of the Heaven Do Empire army into the sharpest spear. When the battle had yet to begin, the strongest of both sides, Tang San and Chen Rinshu, had already started to influence the entire battlefield. It was also only with god-level domains that their divine senses could have such vast impact, and only such god-level power could truly command armies like these. Rumble, the Heaven Do army marched forward step by step. With each step they took, the azure light in the air would also move forward a bit, always hovering above the army, shielding their advance. The golden light in the sky had no choice but to yield a bit under that azure pressure. In the air, Chen Rinshu trembled faintly, gazing at the distant Tang San bathed in blue light, her gaze like a sword. She knew that Tang San's control of his sea god power had advanced yet another step in these few days. With his abilities being superior to hers in all respects before they became gods, after inheriting divinity, with all circumstances combined, he was still ahead above her. Despite Chen Rinshu already using all her strength, she still couldn't stop Tang San's domain from pushing hers back, constantly leading his Heaven Do army forward. At this time, unless she agreed to retreat, her angelic domain would only be constantly constricted. The common soldiers didn't understand strength or weakness of divine power. The golden light that appeared over Jelling Pass admittedly astonished the Heaven Do soldiers, but on their side, the golden light Tang San released wasn't any weaker. They couldn't make sense of divine power, but they could understand strength. By how the blue light Tang San released constantly pressured the golden light, the other side unable to do anything about it. Tang San very clearly held the advantage. In such such circumstances, the morale of the Heaven Do army grew even stronger, constantly shouting the name of the sea god and King Lanhao. The sea god originally relied on the faith of the creatures of the sea to become god, and even though Tang San didn't have the belief of as many sea creatures right now as the sea god, the feverish faith of a million soldiers still instantly made his divine sense unprecedentedly strong. As both sides closed in on each other, the already suppressed Chen Rinshu felt unable to breathe. Dazzling angelic raiment matched by deep azure sea god raiment, Tang San and Chen Rinshu had already become the focal point of the battle. Facing the enormous pressure Tang San brought, Chen Rinshu finally couldn't help drawing her angelic sacred sword, thrusting the sacred sword toward the sun, all her divine power bursting forth. A pure golden light shone down on her from the sun, the dazzling light instantly slowing the pace of the Heaven Do army for a moment. Tang San's sea god domain also coming to a halt because of the several times stronger defense. However, Tang San showed a faint smile at the corners of his mouth. With both sides' divine sense and domains staked against each other, one side acting first proved that they already admitted their strength was insufficient. Being comprehensively dominated undoubtedly made the seed of defeat in Chen Rinshu's heart sprout. On the way back, Tang San had already considered all manner of possible methods Chen Rinshu might use once she fought him again, and inwardly also had some countermeasures. Dragging him into death, was that so easy? As if agreed upon in advance, at the same time as Chen Rinshu turned pure gold after being enveloped by the true sunfire, Tang San also raised his sea god trident. Golden and blue, the two colored lights instantly withdrew into their bodies, and at the same time turned into two intense halos descending from the sky. Tang San and Chen Rinshu also separately charged up into the sky. They both understood that a battle of gods was a battle on a different level. It couldn't possibly take place in front of human armies, or both sides would be annihilated. Even if Tang San was stronger than Chen Rinshu and the Heaven Do Empire's side would have fewer losses than the Spirit Empire, the terrifying side effects of god-level powers clashing would cause tens of thousands of deaths. Neither of them wished to see such circumstances. Consequently, their battle wouldn't be before the walls of Jolin Pass, but rather high in the sky. 6 and 8 wings beat simultaneously. Tang San and Chen Rinshu were a kilometer up in the blink of an eye, and still climbing. Everything beneath their feet grew smaller and smaller, but their eyes were always fixed on the opponent. This battle was crucial to them. Whoever could win in this battle could decide the entire war. 1 kilometer, 2, 3. Tang San and Chen Rinshu climbed a whole way to a 10-kilometer altitude, until they were no longer visible from below, the vision of soldiers on both sides completely blocked by clouds in the altitude. Chen Rinshu coldly watched Tang San, doing her best to calm her raging heart, her eyes bursting with intense killing intent. Just as Tang San expected, her feelings of defeat had already been strengthened in the previous confrontation, until she showed signs of being ready to die, then managed to suppress it. But when facing Tang San, she always had a feeling like he was far above her. Tang San smiled slightly, pointing the sea god trident to the side. In today's battle, however you and me win or lose, do you believe that the Spirit Empire still stands a chance? Even if you could keep me from influencing the battlefield, Jolin Pass will still break. You should have seen that my comrades have already advanced to title Douluo, and 2 have even broken through rank 95, and with the morale of your defenders, there's no suspense to this battle. With Jolin Pass broken, the Spirit Empire stands undefended. Once the Heaven Do and Douluo armies link up, the Spirit Empire will be extinguished. Chen Rinshu gave a cold snort. If you want to fight, then fight. Since when did you become so talkative? Tang San looked calmly at Chen Rinshu. I only want to inform you that even if you plan to die and pull me down with you, it will still be impossible. You can't do it. Try it if you don't believe me. Pure golden light fled in Chen Rinshu's eyes. Anger, humiliation, unwillingness instantly pushed her angelic power to the peak. With her as the center, surging angelic flames instantly soared, 300 meters high, vast expanses of clouds below them melting away from the heat. If someone looked carefully, the speck of pure golden power would even be visible from the battlefield below them. Facing Chen Rinshu's furious eruption of power, Tang San did nothing, smiling slightly. We're already 10 kilometers up. The closer you are to the sun, the better suited it is for you to fight while absorbing true sunfire. Since I came here to fight you, I'm sure I can defeat you. Can fighting in a place most ideal to you let you wholeheartedly accept your defeat? What do you say? Drop. Dead. Chen Rinshu couldn't take Tang San's taunting anymore. The 300-meter true sunfire behind her instantly condensed into a giant angelic sacred sword, falling from the sky straight towards Tang San, bestowing and tearing the air, and the pure golden angelic domain also instantly erupted, enough to show that this was Chen Rinshu's full power attack. Facing such an attack, Tang San still looked elegant and unhurried, holding the sea god trident upright in front of him, his gaze frozen on the sea god's heart on the main blade. The sea god 8 wings on his back simultaneously spreading as far as they could, scattering wave-like blue light. Different from how Chen Rinshu's true sunfire burned away the clouds below them, this moment both the white clouds below as well as behind Tang San all turned into specks of blue light and instantly merged into his sea god 8 wings, becoming the purest water element. Tang San's sea god 8 wings came from the 8 spider lances, and afterwards their ability to devour and filter energy had geometrically multiplied under the effect of Tang San's divine sense. Their absorption process even surpassed Chen Rinshu's angelic 6 wings. This wasn't just the advantage of 2 more wings. The 8 spider lances was an evolving external spirit bone, and before Tang San became a god, its quality far surpassed any spirit bone in the angelic raiment. Moreover, it had always been one with Tang San, while Chen Rinshu's angelic raiment had been fused with her one by one as she underwent the divine inheritance. In terms of unity, Tang San definitely held the advantage, even though Tang San's sea god raiment were his own spirit bones transformed by and filled with the sea god's power, and not originally one set like the angelic raiment. The quality of Tang San's spirit bones still surpassed 100,000 years, so the overall quality was still higher than Chen Rinshu's angelic raiment. Tang San's greatest advantage over Chen Rinshu was that everything he had with things he had accumulated drop by drop on his own, while Chen Rinshu relied on spirit hall, relied on Chen Dailiu, and even more borrowed strength. This was also the reason why Tang San's strength was ahead above hers when both were gods of the same level. It was the real reason Chen Rinshu's strength was less than Tang San's in all respects. While on the way back, Tang San had relied on his divine sense to master all kinds of abilities, directly becoming one with the identity of sea god. This was also the source of his confidence. As for his previous comments, besides confidence, it was envy more to provoke Chen Rinshu. In terms of wisdom, Chen Rinshu was after all a level below Tang San. Blue light flashed, and Tang San was scattered and smashed beneath the giant angelic sacred sword, vanishing into nothing. But Chen Rinshu still clearly sensed that this was only a Tang San made from water elements. The real Tang San floated gracefully a kilometer away, the 8 wings on his back beating softly, looking at her like he was playing. He dodged Chen Rinshu's attack rather than stiffly meeting it. If their positions were reversed, it would have been impossible for Chen Rinshu to do the same. If she was targeted by Tang San's divine sense, she would have had to stiffly meet Tang San. Dodging would have been impossible. But Tang San was different. His divine sense was above hers, and forcefully broke her targeting the instant she attacked, then used the water elements absorbed from the clouds to create a clone, easily leaving Chen Rinshu's attack range. Tang San used actions to prove to Chen Rinshu that his strength was above her in all areas, and also constantly nourished the long-planted seed of defeat in her heart. Are you scared? Chen Rinshu looked angrily at Tang San. She didn't know what was going on, why she couldn't calm down when she again faced Tang San today. Tang San's expression suddenly changed, turning incomparably aggressive, his crystal clear blue eyes suddenly exploding with a berserk aura. Afraid? That word should only be used for you. Take my halberd. Tang San's sudden change from the previous calm grace to the current wild aggression left Chen Rinshu feeling unwell. But at this moment, surging blue light was already exploding from Tang San. With a single shake, he grew 100 meters tall, the sea god trident growing with him, making the simplest and most direct, but also forceful throwing motion. His sea god trident turned into a blue stream, like a shooting star, screaming straight towards Chen Rinshu. The instant the sea god trident shot out, the light exploding from Tang San, including the energy that turned him giant, suddenly all infused into the sea god trident. To the eyes of Chen Rinshu, the moment this weapon flew from Tang San's hand, it seemed to cut the sky in two. Tang San also returned to normal after it flew off. Indeed, this was the third form of the sea god's secret skills. One goes without return. This was the complete version. The true one goes without return. Tang San's eyes were as bright as sapphire, fixed on Chen Rinshu. Surging divine intent instantly coalesced, basically never giving Chen Rinshu a chance to dodge, forcing her to meet the strike. This moment Chen Rinshu immediately understood that she had been fooled. What Tang San said before was all to build an atmosphere, leading to her being tricked. She'd now just attacked with all her strength, and even though she had chatted with Tang San a while, and her divine power was quickly recovered, power was quickly recovering. It still wasn't back at its peak, and Tang San's strike was clearly already charged up, exploding with all its might. With one side waning and one side waxing, the difference was clear. But fully aware that she had been tricked, Chen Rinchu could do nothing but meet this attack. The sacred angelic sword swept out, floating in front of her. Her hands moved like lightning, poking 3 different points on her body. 6 golden specks of light exploded with intense golden light in the air, and at the same time, each of the 6 parts of Chen Rinchu's angelic raiment produced a speck of golden light that fused together. One golden 6-pointed star converging behind the sacred angelic sword. Right now, with Chen Rinchu as the center, everything around turned vague. The sacred angelic sword split into 6, the 6 long swords crossing, then instantly spinning, aggregating a somewhat conical golden entity. The instant all this was done, Tang San's sea god trident also arrived. An incomparable explosion instantly erupted. Chen Rinchu shook, the angelic raiment growing incredibly dazzling. The golden mist she released visibly rushing behind her like a tidal wave, clearly pushed back by the sea god trident's attack power. Meanwhile, a series of glaring sparks also shot from her wildly spinning sacred angelic swords and the sea god trident's main blade. It was like a golden fireworks display in midair, making space twist and distort. The golden light covered a full squarely, just as Chen Rinchu blocked Tang San's attack, and the sea god trident's attack power was dispersing. An intense energy attack came a second time. The blue light that was just weakening instead intensified, almost breaking through her sacred angelic sword formation's defensive barrier in one go. What was going on? Chen Rinchu was shocked. Her original plan was to take advantage of when the sea god trident's attack power weakened, and Tang San still hadn't pulled it back to use all her strength to sever the divine sense connection between Tang San, the sea god trident, just like in her first battle with Tang San after she became a god, and catch the divine weapon. Without the weapon, Tang San's strength would at least sink 30%, substantially increasing her chances of winning the fight. But who knew that the sea god trident actually contained such enormous energy, enough to launch a second attack in circumstances like these? As the god of angels, Chen Rinchu didn't have an understanding of the sea god, otherwise she wouldn't be so shocked. This kind of layered wave divine power was characteristic of the sea god, waves rising before the previous had receded, in endless layers. How could this complete version 1 goes without return single attack ability end so easily? How could Tang San give Chen Rinchu the chance to take his sea god trident again? Not daring to be neglectful, Chen Rinchu focused and used all her strength to meet attack after attack. The energy Tang San's sea god trident erupted with had another strike of divine power appearing before the previous had completely disappeared, with altogether 9 waves overlapping. The moment of the last energy explosion, Chen Rinchu was blasted away by that terrifying divine power explosion, flying headlong several kilometers, and the sea god trident also flew in a wide arc, returning to Tang San's hand. Chen Rinchu clenched her teeth in midair, forcefully swallowing back a trickle of blood that threatened escaping the corner of her mouth. She felt resounding echoes from her angelic raiment, intense energy fluctuations clearly appearing in the angelic raiment due to suffering too great a force. The sacred angelic sword even more rang constantly. Tang San caught the sea god trident, but frowned slightly. He had no intention of pursuing. He had used all his strength in the attack just now and needed time to recover. If he rashly pursued and was unable to kill Chen Rinchu, the counterattack definitely wouldn't leave him feeling any better. The divine power of the god of angels was a bit stronger than he had expected. In Tang San's original plan, even if this charged attack couldn't seriously hurt Chen Rinchu, it would at least ruin part of her angelic raiment. But now it seems that even the sacred angelic sword that had clashed directly wasn't even damaged. Actually, Tang San was overthinking it. His 1 goes without return really was formidable, but Chen Rinchu's response had been perfect, and Tang San faced not only the sacred angelic sword, but Chen Rinchu had infused the sacred angelic sword with the power of all the parts of her angelic raiment the moment the sea god trident reached her. The angelic raiment simultaneously clashing with Tang San's strike. He naturally couldn't break it. To loosen the angelic raiment was already quite terrifying. Hong, dazzling pure golden flames exploded from Chen Rinchu, and Tang San suddenly felt like the sun had grown in the sky. Chen Rinchu and the sun were connected by a pure gold pillar of light. Chen Rinchu grabbed her sacred angelic sword, and as she caught her balance, her expression had already changed. Her eyes revealed a coldness that Tang San had never seen in her before. The god of angels, the representative of the holy light, now emanated a smell of death. Neither side was in any rush to move. Tang San swung his right hand, slashing out a circle of light with the sea god trident. A strange and vague 7-pointed star appeared beneath his feet, and the sea god 8 wings on his back also seemed to grow transparent, all extending, hanging motionless, just like carved from sapphire. The ring of light beneath his feet expanded, shooting behind him, and under the influence of this blue light, one golden speck of light after another began to appear behind him. Each moment, these blue lights seemed to multiply, converging into a blue river, flocking towards the sea god 8 wings on Tang San's back. The scene was like a raging wave forming in midair. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.